Hi everybody! I'm here with Monday's Math. I hope you're excited as I am to get started with this week's learning. Here you will find an explanation of everything you need. Remember, if you're stuck, check the video, send me a message. You can always get some help from me if you message me on Teams. I will respond as soon as I can. Okay? So this is our math for today. Remember that you can submit it using the class notebook function on Teams if you'd like, or you can just take a picture of it and send it my way. Either way, it's fine with me. Enjoy this math. It's gonna be a good week.
Okay, it is Animal Kindness Week, so I picked an animal kindness puzzle for today. Now this is an area model. Don't be stressed out. Area is just length times width. So once we know that this times that gives you the answer in here, the product, the area, it makes it a lot easier to understand. So what is a way we could make 200? We could do 20 times 10. That makes sense to me. 20 times 10. That I'm just trying to think because it's gonna be bigger than 7. But this is, if I'm looking, 10 seems like it would be, because this is 7. This one could definitely be 10. And if you look here, 10 times 20 is 200, which is in here. So 10 times 20 is 200. So that works. I'm not going to write it in the boxes till I've sorted everything out because I'm not entirely sure. We're just trying some things. So then we go over here and we look, okay, 20, and this is 2. I've got 20 times 7. 20 times 7 is like 2 times 7, but with an extra 0. So 140. Let's say that one's 140 because this is 20 and this is 7. And we're trying to make it all, the area add up to 374. Okay, so 20 times 7 is 140. You can't really see very well, I'm sorry. Now my next one I can figure out 7 times 2. Well, that's 14. So that one's 14. Okay, and this one here, 2 times 10. 2 times 10 is 20. Okay, so now I think I have the beaver is 20. Let's add them all up and make sure. So this one is 20. This one is 14. I have 140. I have 200. So I'm only adding up the areas. The areas are here, so now I'm going to add them all up. 0. Now I've got two tens, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Oh, looking good. And 300s. So 374 in total, which is what I was trying to get. So 20 times 10 is 200. 20 times 7 is 140. 2 times 10 is 20, and 2 times 7 is 14. Now, if you don't quite get the area model yet, that's okay. We're going to be working on measurement outcomes in the next little bit, so this is just kind of a intro. So the turtle was 10. The chipmunk was 20. The parrot was 140. And the rabbit was 14. Okay, so the 14 goes in here, not to confuse you. The 20 goes in here. This 20 is just on the outside. And we know that this is a 20, and that actually makes sense. I just noticed it's the same as that one, so it helps us to figure it out. Okay, so that is our puzzle to get us started. Now we're going to move on to our daily math. So it's daily math time next, and I will zoom in to do that. All right, so it says write the first 3 numbers for this pattern rule. Start at 1,000 and subtract 50. So I start at 1,000, 1,000. 1,000 subtract 50 is 950. Oh, I guess I could do a comma, 950. And then subtract 50 more is 900. Subtract 50 more. I keep writing subtract. This is a comma. It's a floating comma. Subtract 50 more is 850. And subtract 50 more would be 800. And I know it only said to do 3, but sometimes I like to continue it. And then 750, so that those who don't quite understand might see how it works. Okay, so it's 1,000, and the rule is subtract 50, so it's 1,000, 950, 900, 850, 800, 750, 700. And that's how it works. Now, is this a growing, shrinking, or repeating pattern? A, D, A, J, A, D, A, J, A, D, A, J. Now, this is a repeating pattern because it just repeats. And that's the kind of patterns that they cover in the earlier grades, it is a repeating pattern. Complete the pattern. 1, 10, 21, 34, 49. So I'm trying to figure out what they're doing here. So 1 plus 9 is 10. I know it's increasing. 10 plus 11 is 21. 21 plus 13 is 34. 34, let's see, plus 15 is 49. So they're adding, so each time they add, they're adding the next odd number. So this next one would be 49 plus 17, because they're adding odd numbers. I'm going to actually write it down here so you can see. Plus 17, so 49 plus 17. 49, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. Okay, and then we're going to add 19. 66 plus 10 is 76, plus 10 more would be 86, but we're only adding 9 more, so I'm going to go 85. And then I'm going to add the next odd number is 21. So 85 plus 21, so we go 85, 95, 100, and then we have to add one more, 101. Or sorry, 85, sorry guys, 85, 95, 105, and one more is 106. Now I notice that this pattern, the number is odd, even, odd, even, odd, even, odd, even. And again, every time we increase, we're increasing by starting at 9 and increasing by the next largest odd number. Number 4, what would replace the to make the following equation true? So the blank line. So 5 times 11 equals 60 something 5. So first we need to find out what 5 times 11 is. 5 times 11 is 55. And what could you do to 60? What could you do to 60 to make it equal 55? So we're not going to add 5 because that would be 65. We're not going to divide because that would make it much smaller. But if we add 5, 60 add 5, so we're not going to subtract 5. Oh, sorry, we're not going to add 5. We're not going to divide 5. We are going to subtract 5. 50 add 60, subtract 5 equals 55. 5 times 11 is also 55. So to make these two equal, on one side you have 5 times 11, and that's equal to 60 subtract 5. All right, what is the rule for the following pattern? 99, 1002, 1005, 1008, 1011. So we have to figure out what it is increasing by. Okay, so we think 999. Okay, how much am I increasing to get to 1002? So 999, 1000, 1001, 1002. So this is plus 3. Okay, and then this one, I'm increasing, so I started at 1002 and I count up 1003, 1004, 1005. Oh, I see a pattern. I think it's increasing by 3. Let's just check, make sure. Yep, that's plus 3, and this is plus 3. So the pattern is increase by 3. All right, let's switch to the whiteboard view for our multiplication. I'm going to use partial products to solve this problem. You are welcome to use Grandma and Grandpa's way if that is something that makes sense to you. And you might be thinking, but Mrs. Oakes, we're not doing single digits. And I am thinking we need to practice. So this is good practice for any multiplication. All right, 7. Oh, I'm moving my whiteboard here. 7 times 5 is 35. So I have 3 10s, 5 1s. 7 times 40. 7 times 40. Well, 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 40 is 280. Okay. 7 times 800. 8 times 7 is 56. 56 with 200s because it's in the 2 zeros because it's in the 100 spot. 7 times 4,000. So 4 times 7 is 28, and it's in the thousands. So we go 1, 2, 3 for 1,000s, and we just write
28. Now we add all of these together to get our final product. 5, 3 and 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and now I have 3 plus 6 is 9 hundredths. 5,000 plus 8,000. 5 and 8 is 13. Okay, and then 30,000. So it's 33,915. So let's do this right here. I'm going to use Grandma and Grandpa's way for this one. Remember, you can use partial products. They are the same. Basically, you're just changing the order in which you add the numbers. So 6 times 4 is 24. So I put my ones in the one spot, and I'm going to put the 2 tens up here. So I know I need to add 2 more tens when I multiply my tens. So 10 times 4 is 40, and 2 more tens, 50, 60. So I have 64. Now I move on to my hundreds. 4 times 9. 4 times 900. So 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 900 is going to be 36 with 2 zeros on it. 3,600. Now, I don't know if I know that I'm not going to have any more hundreds, so I can put that 600 there, but I'm going to put my 3,000. I have 3,000s to add. I'm putting it above my 1,000 number so I remember. 4 times 2,000 is 8,000. Now I have how many more thousands here? Right, I have a few more thousands. I have 3 more thousands. So 4 times 2,000 is 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 11,000. 11,666. So that's how you do Grandma Grandpa's way. I know some of you like that. Some of you prefer to do partial products, and I will model both at different times just to kind of show you that you can do Grandma Grandpa's way. It's the same thing. You're just doing your adding up here rather than down here. 5,793 times 9. I'm going to use partial products. You can use whatever strategy you prefer. I'm going to start with 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm going to write 27. I'm going to keep my 10s and my 1s in the right column. Then I move on to 9 times 90. So 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 90 is 810. So I have 800s, 110, 0 ones. Now I'm going to move on to 9 times 7. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 700 is 6,300. So I have 6,000s, 300s, 0 10s, 0 ones. Now I move on to 9 times 5,000. So 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 5,000, you got it, it's 45,000. So we're going to put 45,000. Now I'm going to add this all together to get my final product. Let's turn this down a little bit. Okay, so I have a 7. I have 3 10s. I have 8, 9, 10, 11 hundreds. So one of that becomes 1,000. I have 7 plus 5 thousands. So that's going to be 12,000. And then I have 50,000 in my 10,000th place. So I have 52,137. I have 1,023, and I'm going to multiply that by 7. So 3 times 7, I'm going to use partial products. Remember, you are free to use whatever strategy you like. 3 times 7 is 21, so I'm going to write 21 here. Now I'm going to go 7 times 20, so 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 20 is 140. 7 times 0, we could just skip that because there's nothing there to multiply. 7 times... because 0 hundreds, but there's no hundreds. 7 times 1,000 is 7,000. Now we add those 3 together. 1, 6 tens, 100, and 7,000. So it's 7,100. Oh, sorry guys, 7,161 for our total. Okay, so we're gonna practice composing fractions right now. And that's just adding, and you guys can do that. So it says we can build a fraction. Composing just means making. We can build a fraction with smaller pieces. For example, take a look at this picture. It represents a fraction of 5/6. So this is 5/6.
If we change the way that we shade the pieces, we can see that 5/6 can be built by putting 3/6 and 2/6 together. That sound is tough. We can write this as an addition equation. 3/6, so that's here, plus 2/6, which is right here, equals 5/6. Okay, so it says write an equation to show how we can make the fraction 7/8. Use the picture below. So we look here. This is our eighths. It's already divided for us. We just have to count. So we have 1/8 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/8 equals 7/8. So this bottom number, the denominator stays the same. The pieces are the same size, right? And then 6/8, the 1 plus 6 is 7. So this bottom number stays the same, and then you add the top 1, the numerator. 1 plus 6 is 7. And now we're going to do the same thing to show how we can make the fraction 2/4. So we have 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 2/4. So that's all it is. This bottom number, this denominator, is staying the same for our purposes. So in grade 5, we're not going to go too much into how this can change. Don't worry about it. Right now we're just practicing adding the fractions how they are, okay? Now the next one is make the fraction 5/8 by adding two smaller fractions represented on the picture below. Okay, so we need to get 5/8. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are what I'm allowed to color, or I'm allowed to shade to show 5/8. I'm going to do my first one with lines. So that's 1, 2, let's do 3. So I have 3/8 plus, I'm going to shade these ones differently. So I've got 1, 2, 3/8 plus 2/8. 3/8 plus 2/8 equals 5/8. So do you see how the size of these pieces stays the same? So this denominator is the same. And then we have 3 plus 2 is 5. So again, just worry about the top number. Now, make the fraction 3/4 by adding two smaller fractions represented on the picture below. So we get to make this up. Yours could be different than mine. And I'm going to do my first one squiggly wiggly. 1, 2 squiggly. And then my last one, because I have to color in 3, right? 3. My last one, I'll shade right here. So now I have 2/4, my squiggly line one, plus 1/4, my shaded one, gives me 3/4. Okay, now it says make the fraction 6/10 by adding two smaller fractions. Represent it on the picture below, then write an equation to match. So I have 6/10. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So I have to make 6. And I'm going to go 4 and 2. So I've got 4/6. And then my second one, a crosshatch. 1, 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths plus 1, 2 tenths. This looks like a multiply. It's not. And that's going to equal 6/10. Okay. Now I'm going to turn this over and go to the second page for today. So this is continuing with adding fractions. So again, all we're doing is adding that top number. You don't have to worry about the denominator. It's just the numerator that we're looking at. It says, when we add fractions, we can use visual models to help us. For example, let's solve the equation of 3 plus 10 and 4 plus 10. So this is our visual model. It says first shade 3/10 on the picture to the left. So I start by shading 3/10. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I did that. Now I'm going to shade 4/10, and I'm going to just pick, because my shading, it's hard to see my shading on camera, so I like the differences that I'm making. I'm just going to pick a different color and shade in that different color. So, sure, purple. Now I shade 4/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many tenths are shaded all together? Now we add 3 plus 4 is not, you don't worry about the bottom number, just the top one. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So you have 7/10. And if you look up here, 3/10 plus 4/10, this bottom number staying the same. You just look at this number. We're just focused on the numerator. If I can get my... So these are the numerators. We're only looking, when we're adding our fractions at this point, we're just looking at these top numbers. The bottom number is staying the same. Okay, 3/10 plus 4/10 is 7/10. Okay, so this is how I represented it visually, and this is how I represent it using an equation. Now we're going to move on to this. It says solve the addition equations below and represent each one on the visual model. So for this, guys, I am going to do the first few with you, and then I'm going to let you do a couple on your own today. So watch carefully as I go through the first 4. I'm going to go through the first 4, and then the second 4 are going to be for you to do on your own. So watch my steps. The first thing I do is I know that this bottom number isn't going to change. This denominator is going to stay the same. So I can write that there right away. And now I go and I read. So it's 4/10 plus 3/10. So one color will be 4 and one color will be 3. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to shade in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've done 4. Now I'm going to do 3. 1, 2, 3. So now I've shaded in 4/10 and I've shaded in 3/10. My total is 4, 5, 6, 7/10. Okay, now I'm going to do the next one, and it's 1/6 and 3/6. So again, I know that the bottom number, that denominator, is going to be 6. So I can start with that. And then I shade in one color, or one way of shading this way, and one way of shading the other. If you don't have 2 colors, you can just shade in different, like you can do 1 polka dots and 1 stripes. It doesn't really matter. I'm just using my shading here. So I have 1/6 plus 3/6. 1, 2, 3 equals 4/6. So 1 plus 3 is 4. So you can always just add these 2 numbers. 4 and 3 is 7, 1 and 3 is 4. But we're also adding the piece where we're drawing it. So that's how I draw it. Now watch 2 more. I'm going to go through the steps 2 more times. So pay attention to what the steps are, and then you're going to try them on your own, okay? So I have this model here. I'm going to start by putting my 10 here so I know in my head that it's tenths, okay? And I have 2/10 and 7/10. So I've got 2/10 and 7/10. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do this where you put a scribble with the colors. I'm doing that so that while you're watching, hopefully it's a little bit easier to understand. So I'm taking my 2/10 and I'm going to shade in 1, 2. Now I'm going to take my 7, my other pen, I'm going to shade in 7/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Doesn't matter which 7 you fill in. So now I have shaded in 2/10 and I've shaded in 2, 4, 6, 7/10. All together, it's 9/10. 2 plus 7 is 9. 2/10 plus 7/10 is 9/10. Okay, let's move over on to the last one that I'm going to do with you. I almost said for you, with you. And then you're going to do the last 4 all on your own because I know you can. So my first one here, I have 6/10 and 4/10. Oh, 12ths, Mrs. Oaks. 6/12 and 4/12. So I put this here out of 12. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to color them in. So 6/12. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually kind of fun. 5, 6. So I've shaded in 6. Now I need to do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 6 plus 4 is 10. 6/12 plus 1, 2, 3, 4/12. 6 plus 4 is 10/12. And I know I've shaded in 10/12 because there's 12 pieces and I have 2 left. So there must be 10 shaded in. Now, you're going to go on to do these last 4 ones on your own. And then you get to create your own equation and draw a picture to accompany it. Now, I know that stresses some people out, so I'm going to give you equations you could use. I'm going to do an example of this one too, okay? And I'll give you some equations that you could use. It might make it a little easier for you. So create your own addition equation and draw a picture to accompany it. So I'm going to draw a shape, and I'm going to break it into 6 pieces. I know they're not exactly equal, but we'll pretend. And so both of my numbers are going to be 6ths, and I could do 2/6 plus 4/6 equals 6/6. So I will color in 1, 2. You do not have to pick one that equals a whole number. And then I will color in 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've colored in the whole thing, so it's 6/6. I'm going to do another example, and remember, guys, you can pick whatever equations you would like to pick. I am going to do a circle one, and I'm going to do 6th again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to do 1/6 plus 4/6. And that's going to be 5/6 because I just add those 2 top numbers. So let's color them in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/6 plus 1/6 is 5/6. So I'm going to just put a couple equations here you could use. You don't have to. You could do 4/8 plus 2/8 equals how many 8ths? Okay. You could also do 5/10 plus 2/10 equals how many tenths? You get to decide. You can pick your fractions and you're going to draw 2 here. So the thing that you're doing on your own today is you are doing 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, and then you're going to make 2 of these up. So just like I did, I drew my shape, I write my fractions, and I make an equation. All right? So happy math time. I hope you guys enjoy working on that.
You did it! That's it. That's all for math today. I do recommend that if you can, you go and check out a Daily 10. That would be very helpful for you to practice your skills in whatever area you are working on. My suggestion is multiplication and division. Give yourself a Daily 10. You will find the link to that and an instructional video in today's class post. Okay? Have a great day. I will see you on Wednesday for more math.